Congratulations, we're getting there. So now on this page, this is the nitty gritty of us doing the quote for you, is that we actually need to know the square meters of the standard area, the difficult area. If you want a floor area done as well, put that in there, the wall area, the ceiling vacuum, if there's a removal you want done as well. Now, you don't need to put anything in on this page. None of these fields are required fields. You can just tick the box at the bottom here and you can go to the next page. But of course, if you do put in the information, then we both know that we're quoting on the right size, and also you own the measurement. Sometimes companies will tell you that that your house is 300 square meters, and if you haven't measured it, you don't really know. And then maybe you ring Bunnings and get a price on the bats yourself from Bunnings, but you're pricing 300 meters when your house is actually 250 square meters. So that's why I like to educate my customers. It makes it all above board. It helps them know that we're doing the right thing and that our installers are doing the right thing. And the other thing that might happen is maybe we get the measurement wrong and we turn up on site with 200 square meters of product when your house is actually 250 square meters. And sometimes if you've got a less reputable tradesman, that won't mean he'll go and buy more product. It'll probably just mean that he leaves the corners and leaves the edges and leaves some gaps, so then he stretches the product out, or with the bats they often delaminate them. Anyway, you can also click on these information boxes and go to a little video about our floor jobs or our vacuum job or bat removal jobs, and that'll link to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe there. But let me get into this. Now, if you click on here and you fill in the 3 links below that we base our quote on, we'll actually give you a $50 bonus off your price of your quote. And the reason for that is, like I said, it just saves some back and forth sometimes with knowing exactly which house you're going to. Saves us doing a site inspection, obviously, and makes sure that the installers, because the customer's entered in all the information, make sure that the installers know exactly what they're doing and they get all the right information on the day to do the job. So let's click here and we'll go over to our free map editing or measuring program with Google Maps. Now, if you've got a Google Gmail account or Google Workspace, you can always save your map with those accounts. And I mean, a Gmail address is free, so certainly it'd be maybe a good idea to have a saved version of your map of your house and the square meters of things laying around. But this is just the free account. Now, if we just type in an address here, 27 Vale Road, Pine. These maps are quite amazing now. 25 years ago when I started doing this job, we had to walk around a house to measure it. It was quite different. Now, if you didn't notice, I just zoomed in over here with these little buttons here to zoom in. Just make sure you're zoomed right in on the house. And when you open it up, sometimes you're on this traffic layer, like one of these other layers like this. You want the satellite image layer. So I'll just, oh, I don't know why that's come up there. Can I click that off? There. Okay. So this is the satellite image layer. Now, to measure your house, this is important if you can provide this information sometimes, because oftentimes we look at a house and we might know, but there's a huge veranda out the back here, and so when you're measuring, if you know where that is, you can measure it out for us. Or maybe you only want the garage done. Maybe it's just this front living area or garage that you want done. And the other thing is, there's 2 buildings on this premise, so which one do we quote on? Do we quote on both? This back area here could be a granny flat, it could be a garage, and the customer knows that information. And that's why if you fill in the information for us, we know that the quote's right, you know that the quote's right, and it just makes everything a lot quicker and simpler. Now, So let's move on now in order to get a quote here or to measure the house with the My Maps, the Google My Maps service, and I'll just show you that's how My Maps starts, right? You can actually save your map, but you've got a toolbox, right? With the free version, for whatever reason, they seem to hide the toolbox for measuring your house. So it's actually a right click to bring up the toolbox. So right click, and then if we go down here, measure distance. Now if you've got an iPad or that you're doing this on, you just hold your finger down on the screen and where you want to start the line, and then you'll bring up this box, and then you say measure distance. Now because I clicked over there to start with, it's going to start my line there, but I'll show you how to fix that. Now let's go click here, right, and then click here, click here, click here, click here, and don't worry about the eaves because eaves are different sizes, and I'll actually work that out and take those off when I do the quote. Right now, when you click one of the circles, it unclicks it actually. Right, so I can click there, and then I can actually drag this one over here to here and complete the rectangle, as it were, and then that gives me, and I'll just zoom back in. If you want to drag the map, you just hold your finger down and drag it. Now, so that tells us it's 225 square meters, and there's 67 square meters. 67 linear meters of perimeter, and that's how I work out how big your eaves are, is with that 67 meter length, right? So I can take off the eaves, and then from the internal photos I can normally tell how big your verandas are and your entryways and things like that to take off as well. Now I actually want a photo of this, and I want the URL, but if you've got My Maps, I only need you to share the map. Over here it's got a share button too, but you need to log in. But if it's not Google My Maps, the normal Google Maps program won't share the lines on this map. So just to be safe, just do a screen capture for me, or take a photo of your screen if you're on an iPad. So on screen capture on a Mac, it's just Shift Command 4, and I can just put a box around all of that now and take a picture. And notice it's got the address on the pin for me, it's got the square meters and the perimeter, and it shows the house zoomed right in. So if we go back to our form here that I'm asking you to fill in, it's 226 square meters, I think. Now we might want to do that garage area out the back, so that's where we'd put in that for the difficult area. But let's put in that photo that we just took a photo of, right? So choose File, let's go to Recent Files, and there's a screenshot there. Let's open that, and then that puts that file in. Now let's come back, because we're thinking at the same time we'll get a quote on the garage out the back. So now if we again right click, we clear the measurement. Now again on Google Maps you don't need to do that, and I'll get you'll be able to share the actual map that you draw. But to do it this way, just click there again, measure distance, and then you can go around back anti-clockwise this time. So click, 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 and click, and then that'll give me my square meters, 115 square meters. Now again, do Shift Command 4 on a Mac, or whatever you do on your PC to do a screen capture, and then just capture that screen for me, and then we go back to the form, and the difficult area here was 115 square meters. Now I'll be able to see from the map which area you mean by that. I've got the measurement that I can check it, and we both know that we're using the same measurement for the quote, so it makes it easy. And now I'll also choose another file and upload that last file that I just took, and let's click open, and now that should upload. Did I choose the right file? Okay, anyway, now I'll just move on. Yeah, I did, so there we go, it's uploaded. So now there's the two pictures there. Now on the next page you'll have a chance to upload the house plan or any photos of the job that you think are difficult areas or that you're concerned about. Maybe you've got a wrap over roof, or some suspended tile ceilings, or difficult access, or difficult truck access, or solar panels over a raked section or something like that you want to show me. Anything at all you want to show us, picture of your dog, then you can post those on the next page. The picture of the dog, unless it's a really cute dog, is probably not going to get you a discount, but it might. Or your cat if you're a cat lover. Anyway, so now if you've got Google My Maps, if you click the URL at the top of the screen and paste it in, then I'll actually get the image that you generated after you saved it, right? But even for Google Maps, if you copy this image, I'll get where it's zoomed in. So if you click in your top search bar, do Command C for copy on a Mac, and Command V for paste, and if you're on an iPad, you just hold it down to get your options. Hold your finger on the URL to get your options, and then copy, and then paste that in here. Now what that will do is actually give me the location exactly where that pin is, so we know we're looking at the right house. Sometimes Google does bring up the house next door, or if the block's been split in two and you've got 42A and 42B now, it'll put the pin on the front house, and maybe it's the back house that I actually need a quote on for you, so you can move the pin over to the back house, or measure that for me and tell me. So or zoom right in on the back house for me. Now that can go in there. Now the last detail that I need, and I've already actually got it here, but is the real estate URL photos, because that gives me the internal photos of the house. Now I've already searched this house. Now I just typed the street address into Google, searched for the property. I found Domain Properties had some photos of the house, and now I can just look at the house and go through the photos. Now surprisingly, these photos actually tell me, as the installer and the contractor, a lot of information. Like in this room here, there's no downlights. That's important to me when I'm doing the quote. And on the next page, you'll be able to tell us how many downlights you've got on the house. So this room here's got a tongue and groove ceiling. I know because it's a tile roof and that's not up on an angle that this is a fake tongue and groove ceiling. So that's not going to matter to my job. And in the kitchen, there's no downlights or exhaust fans, so I can see that, and I can see how big the eaves are. I can see there's a roof vent to check while I'm up there. I can see that this back roof here is a flat roof. So you can see I can find out all the details I need in order to do a detailed quote for you. And sometimes on these sites they've actually got a floor plan from when it was previously sold. So so I can get that there too. But again, just up to the top bar where the URL is, and copy that URL for me. Come back to your form, and then I've pasted it in here already, but you just paste it in there for me, and then that gives me the photos, the internal photos to look at. Now, if you do all of those things, I'll give you $50 off the quote, but more importantly, you'll know that we've got all the right details to quote on, and that we're actually doing the quote properly. This wall area, if you've got any walls that you want done, you just need to probably indicate on the map for us which wall, if it's an external wall or if it's all of them. You can write that on the map with the Google My Maps. With the free or the non-subscribed version, you'll just have to draw a line for us and let us know and take another photo and upload it. With the sealing vacuum, I don't recommend sealing vacuum with insulation. It's a bit of a scam. Most of the time, like the bat installers put the bats over the ceiling after they've vacuumed it. So unless you go around lifting up all the bats, you won't know whether they've done a good job. But with the cellulose fibre insulation, the borax in the product is a natural disinfectant, natural deodorizer, and a natural insect killer, and it actually kills any ants, spiders, cockroaches, silverfish, or dust mites in your roof. So I wouldn't recommend the sealing vacuum if you're using the product that we recommend, the cellulose fibre insulation. If you've got some existing bats that are full of rats or mice or that, and you want them removed, or some foil, then obviously we need the area here, and we quote you on the removal. I definitely recommend getting them removed if they're infested, and then we quote you on the reinstall. But I like I said, there's no need to waste your money on the vacuum. On most houses, the 12 mils of plaster between you and the roof space keeps all the dust from coming through, as it were. And even if you've got a tongue and groove ceiling, the grooves themselves, it took 30 years for the dust to get into the groove. So us vacuuming the dust off the top of the groove up in the roof space doesn't actually stop dust from falling down for a number of years. And so for tongue and groove, I don't recommend it either. You're better off getting the ceilings gap filled and getting your ceilings repainted to stop dust coming through, that is. Anyway, so all of that being said, let's go to the next page, and thank you very much.